Good evening. We are going to call the April 3rd meeting of the Amery City Council to order. Fran, do you want to do the roll call?
Certainly. Myers.
Here.
Erickson. Here. Rogers.
Here.
Karushak.
Here.
Strobush. Here. And Van Blarka.
Here.
Do you know, is Rick going to be here tonight, or is he tied up with taxes?
I haven't heard anything from him. He may be here a little bit late.
Okay. We're going to stand and do the pledge. I'm going to ask our police chief, Tom Marson, to lead us in the pledge.
All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Tom. In your packet, you have the minutes from our last meeting on March 6th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last month?
I so move.
Myers, is there a second?
Second.
Rogers, any corrections or additions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are accepted. Upcoming events, we have Derek Larson here, and Derek is going to have a presentation for us. So Derek, do you want to come up?
Hi, I'm Derek Larson. I'm losing my voice right now, so bear with me. But I'd like James to come up here from the Amery Library first. I'm a local artist around town, and I've decided to make one for the Amery Library, and I'd like to present it to James right now. About my art show.
Oh, yes. And I'm going to talk about it later, but beginning April 15th, we'll have Derek's display of his art at the library. So we'll have that in there for a month through the middle of May. So.
Thank you very much, Derek.
And then I'd like the mayor to come up next. I was going to have somebody else come in, but Rhonda could not come in, so I decided to have the mayor for the Amery Hospital one.
Good. Very nice. Yeah. Thank you very much. Put this over here.
Rhonda's cuter. That picture.
Thank you, Derek. And again, there'll be an art display of Derek's work at the public library starting April 15th through the middle of May. Okay, thank you. Judy Johnson from Centennial Hall is here as well.
Hi, everyone. Once again, I'm happy to be here representing Amery Centennial Hall. I have 3 events that I want to bring to your attention. Our first event is our rummage sale that is being held on Thursday, April 18th from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. and again on Friday, April 19th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We probably have a little something for everyone, so bring your spare change. Our second event is our vendor, plant, and bake sale, which is being held on May 31st from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. There will be various vendors to buy from, as well as large selection of baked goods and plants, so come and check us out. My last item of interest is a fundraiser for Amery Centennial Hall being held at Crickets, which will be held on May 18th from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we will be having the Studebakers Live 50s Band. They'll be playing music, and the admission is only $5. There will be food available, and we will be having a silent auction as well. So come and kick up your heels for a fun night of the dancing to the 50s music. I've already informed my husband to put his dancing shoes on because we're going. I've never seen them play before, but I have heard that they are very enjoyable. So hope to see you all there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Judy. Is there anyone else who is here to talk about an upcoming event? Tom?
This weekend is our 10th annual spring show out at the Amery Hockey Arena. Be open Friday night from 5 to 8, Saturday from 9 to 3, and Sunday from 11 to 2. Admission is just a $2 donation to the food pantry or a non-perishable food item. We've got 33 different vendors this year with all sorts of ideas for home improvement to recreation, so it should be a good time. And I did a quick statistical thing. Over the last 10 years, we've given $20,000 to the Youth Hockey Association, $5,000 and an estimated 400 boxes of food to the food pantry, and $7,500 worth of scholarships from the show.
Oh, that's great.
Come on and see us.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I know the following weekend, we have the VFW putting on the gun show, also at the Amery Ice Arena. And then I received an invitation from the Polk County Aging and Disabilities Resource Center of Northwest, Wisconsin. They are having a free meal on April 16th for area residents 60 and over. It's going to be held at the Amery Senior Dining Meal Site, which is the Congregational Church. Begins at 10:30 with lunch at 11:30. In addition to the lunch, they will be offering free blood pressure checks and the opportunity for folks to ask questions of healthcare professionals from Amery Regional Medical Center, and also the new dementia care specialist at the new memory care facility that's being opened. Anyone else have any other announcements on upcoming events? Okay. Officers report. We're going to start with Bones, Public Works. You weren't first last.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at your agenda, I just told him there's no surprises this week because his name's listed first. You tricked me. All right, to get on with things. One of the things I want to talk about this evening, I've been getting a lot of calls over this new meter change out that the city's going to be doing. There was a letter that went out and
It will go out.
Pardon me?
It will go out.
There it is.
Apparently, several people have received it because it has the it has the name of a plumber on there already. I seen one today.
Not from us. They must have had some kind of premonition because
Is that right?
Linda just printed them. They're going out next week, so.
Maybe it was just was it the newsletter from last?
May have been in the newsletter.
Last-
It was in the newsletter, yeah.
But
was noted in
it
there.
apparently lists the local plumber that we were using. But at any rate,
Maybe it came out from the local plumber.
It may have been in a newsletter, Bones.
He's drumming up this. But at any rate, a lot of people think that they're going to have to hire a plumber to have these things changed out, which is not the case. You're going to find out that if you have a sprinkling meter, oh, that's what it was. It was the
Sprinkling meter.
The recall for the sprinkling meters.
Yep. There was a letter sent out to
Okay.
certain people.
Yep, the people that have sprinkling meters. And for those folks that have been using a sprinkling meter on their lawn, their garden hose hookup on the outside, and we call that a deduct, that's no longer going to be the case. You're going to have this second meter plumbed in along with the old meter that you have. And those will have to probably be plumbed directly to your outside faucets. And then at the same time, we'll probably doing cross-connection inspection in your basement, so it'll probably be one of the members from my crew, along with the fellows that we've contracted with to change the meters. And basically, all that it amounts to is this is the meter you have in your basement with a different type of head on it. A lot of the meters that are fairly new are in good shape. We'll probably just come in, put a different head on, and we'll be in and out of your basement in probably about 5 minutes. The ones that we change the whole meter out, as long as the plumbing is in good working order, it'll probably take us about 15 minutes. The only need for a plumber is if you want to continue to have a sprinkling meter, you're going to have that plumbed in alongside the domestic meter that you already have.
Or if there's something serious when we go down and install the meter where
Exactly.
it needs fixed prior.
If we go in and your control valve in your basement is leaking, we're probably going to advise you to have a plumber come in and fix it, because we are not licensed plumbers and we do not do that. What else was I going to say? I guess that was basically the most of it. I think we have a meeting before the dump opens next month. Do we have a meeting on the 1st? Is that the first Wednesday?
I think so.
I was going to mention that the dump opens first weekend in May, and also leaf pickup is the second weekend in May, but we'll have one more meeting between then and now. So, any questions? And I know there's a lot of potholes out there, and we're working on getting them fixed.
Question, Bones, if someone has the 2 meter, I mean, you said this, the outside meter and then inside, are these on both of them or just one? I know like our subdivision has an outside, they had one reading, they put this on both of them? Or is that?
The folks that have a meter that they use outside, they're going to have to turn that back in, and they're going to have their basement replumbed. Hopefully, if they want to have a sprinkling meter. The few people that I've been out and visited, their basements aren't completely finished, and even one of them he had ceiling tiles such as this where you could easily expose his outside faucets. It's just a matter of cutting into them outside faucets and hooking them up to a sprinkling meter in your basement. The meters that people are using outside now, they're no longer going to be able to do that.
Okay, I was just thinking like this, our subdivision has that used to come 2 separate bills.
Yes.
Yep.
So is then they have 2 of those on there, or just one?
Yes.
They have 2 meters.
You would have 2 meters in your house,
Yep.
yeah.
But there are a lot of people out there, and I'm not going to say a lot, there are a few people out there that already have 2 meters plumbed in their basement.
Right.
And theirs are proper. You know what I mean? That's the way the direction we're heading.
Okay.
And those people, it's going to be a matter of just going in, popping this head on both
Okay,
meters.
okay. That's, I know the question might be come my way and I just.
And some of the other meters that aren't plumbed in, they're basically they've been converted so that they can accept a hose. And when they would typically go out to read one of these meters, a lot of times it's in the tule weeds, or
in their shed.
Or in their shed, it's somewhere different.
Yeah.
So it's, and these are more expensive meters just to have thrown around. And then the state, I think we talked about this a couple of years ago, how the state is really pushing the cross-connection stuff. And what cross-connection really is basically when somebody does something where water comes back into the system. So basically you have a siphon situation where you're sucking water that's not clean into the system, which causes the cross-connection and could potentially cause issues in your home or in the system. So plumbing them in makes it a safer way to go for the homeowner and for the city's water system. The other thing is that if you really do use to water flowers in a garden or anything like that, or you wash your car every other day or something, you really need to, people do that. They really should consider spending a little money to get it plumbed in, because you'll save on the sewer charge for that.
The cost of if you currently have a lawn meter and you have one of those put in, is it the same fee per month to have the meter?
Yes.
Or per?
No change that way. Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions for Bones? Anything else you wanted to
Not that I can remember now.
Well, if you think of something in the meeting, just let us know.
You'll let me back up. Thank you.
We're going to go to the library. James.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. I want to start off again with tax forms. Tax day is April 15th, I believe, and we still have all of the main federal and state tax forms and instruction booklets. We've done a couple of reorders of those, so we have everything in stock right now as of today. And just come in and we can help you find the right form. If it's a more specialized form, we generally can find it on the IRS website or Department of Revenue website and print it off for you. A couple of upcoming programs. This Saturday, which is the 6th, April 6th, from 9 to 1, we're having the Friends of the Library book sale. Beginning next Wednesday, we're going to be offering drop-in help sessions for various types of e-readers and tablet computers, basically how to get library books onto those devices, audiobooks and e-books. So that's 3 to 5 beginning next Wednesday. So we're planning to do this every Wednesday. On Thursday, April 18th, we're going to have a Get Ready for Earth Day program. It's a couple days before Earth Day, but we'll be having a do-it-yourself recycled art project program. I'm not sure what it actually entails, but it's very well thought out what it is. That's Thursday, April 18th from 4 to 6 p.m. Lastly, I talked about Derek Larson's art display going in on April 15th. Right now we have a collection of pieces of art created by Amery High School students, and they're great stuff. So if you haven't had a chance to come over and take a look at it, it's worth doing that. And that's all I have.
Any questions for James? Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Police Department, Tom Marson.
We'll be getting Bones ready for the Memory Center here pretty soon, so I'll help you out there, okay, Bones? All right. Good evening. I present to the council and the media the activity reports for the month of March. I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any as well. Well, perhaps spring is finally here. We've been getting calls and people stopping in about their driveways being muddy and stuff like that. So effective today, we're probably going to squash any of the parking tickets since the season ends on the 15th of April anyway. Along in April is Tornado and Severe Weather Awareness Week. And I don't know if Darrell was going to bring that up, but that's April 15th through the 19th. And on April 18th there, we'll be doing a mock tornado watch at 1 p.m. and a mock tornado warning at 1:45. And we'll be setting up sirens on that date, and certainly I'll be meeting with Darrell to go over a few other things as well there. As in the past, Golden Age Manor will still be available for those who are seeking shelter and should be manned by the Amery fire personnel, I believe. Correct, Darrell?
Correct.
All right. Lastly, our Cops and Kids organization has begun setting in motion our golf outing in June. I believe it's the 18th, along with the outdoor movies that we've done over the past 2 years, which has been an overwhelming success. We are this year enlisting the help of the community for movie ideas for July 3rd. If you go on the city's website in the police department area there's a survey with some movies that we're considering there. So if you have an idea of a movie that you like on July 3rd there, go in there and give us your input. That's all I have. Any questions?
Any questions for Tom? Thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
Fire Chief.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, and the community. Provided the members of the council and the media with the Amery Fire Department incident report for March. We had 20 total runs in March, 8 being fire calls, 12 being medicals. Met with the communications dispatch supervisor this afternoon while I was at work up there. We've had 125 calls already through March 31st. So it's been an extremely busy year for the fire department and first responders. Pancake breakfast was last Saturday in conjunction with the Easter egg hunt. Weather was not cooperating, and we had the first annual Easter egg hunt inside the fire station. It went well. They're already talking about possibly doing it again next year, or at least doing it in the front parking lot of the fire station, moved a little bit closer. Because it was moved in there, it boosted our pancake sales. So I want to thank everyone that attended the pancake breakfast. We were able to put right around $500 into our account. So thank you for your support in that. With the snow melting and finally leaving us, snow cover's gone, burn permits are going to be required again. I've had several calls from people who wanted to burn brush piles and stuff while there's still snow on the ground. I would start to get in the habit of either coming to City Hall or using the city website and obtaining a burn permit from me via email. We were dispatched to a call last Friday already from somebody that decided to burn and didn't contact the sheriff's department, and we got paged out. So please follow the rules and get your burn permits and do what they tell you to do as far as notifying dispatch. This year we've had a few new members join the fire department. Chris Franzen, Bill Vierkant, and Trent Christensen, who used to be Explorers down in Madison now, but he was put on as an active firefighter. He comes home usually once a month. Have all been put on within the last year, and Chris Franzen and Bill Vierkant have just completed their entry-level firefighter certification, so I'd like to congratulate them on that. Trent, being down in Madison, going to school for this, is already a certified level 2 and certified as an emergency medical technician. 4 other members, Howie Monteith, Tyler Bauermeister, Dave Wellew, and Tom Dusick, have just completed the emergency medical responder class. So we'll have 4 new firefighters that are first responder certified to help us out. And we put on 2 new Explorers in the last month. Carl Ullman and my other son Lane Christensen just joined last month as new Explorers. So we're at full roster again, and we got guys going to school and improving their skills to help serve the community better. Called Custom Fire at 4:30 before I came over just to get a truck update. No visual progress on the truck, but they assured me that they have all of the materials ready to go and everything is programmed in the computers. And they said starting probably next week, you'll be starting to see visual progress, and we're still slated for middle to end of May for completion. So. That's all I got.
Any questions for Darrell? Before you step down, I just want to publicly thank you and the fire department for responding to that little incident that we had last week at the medical center. I was really impressed with the quick response and how many firefighters came out in the middle of the night.
Thank you.
And how long they stayed to make sure that everything was okay before they left. So thank you very much.
They were all quite surprised when I got on scene and said there was smoke in the building. So.
Yeah.
At 3 o'clock in the morning, we just assumed it was your regular nuisance alarm. I think we had about 25 of them showed up when they found out there was smoke, so it was a good turnout.
Well, thank you.
Unfortunately, it was minor.
That's right. City Administrator, Darcy Long.
Well, I'll say Bones was technically right. There was a letter sent out, but not to everybody, only if you had a lawn meter or a sprinkling meter. So some people did get one, and that did refer to a list of plumbers that could do work for plumbing in your lawn meter, so that is correct. The other letter that everybody will get, and it mostly applies to residential in some cases, as commercial and industrial customers will be easy to schedule during the day because there'll be somebody there. But for residential customers where it's a little more difficult to get you into your homes because you're either at work or you're not there because you're a snowbird, or those houses are empty, we are sending out a letter, and there's going to be in this letter a whole bunch of information. It's going to talk about Midwest testing and that they're going to be involved with doing the installation, as well as city staff will be assisting with installing meters as well, and they will be doing the cross-connection inspections as part of that process. But also in here it's an important information that I want to kind of share a little bit, is that there is a time frame that we're trying to get you to call and get scheduled for sometime in April or the beginning of May. And there's an 800 number. This is like a call center that is staffed by people with Midwest testing that will get you scheduled. And to incentivize you, because we really want people to call, because if you don't call, you're going to have 3 shots basically. You're going to have till almost the 28th of April to call and get on a schedule. And after that, we're not going to be, we may have to use some negative incentive. So we might have to shut your water off if you won't let us in or you don't call us. So you'll call after that, we're pretty sure. But to incentivize you, we really want, one of the vendor Midwest Testing, when they've done this on a scale like Amery's doing, they've done kind of a drawing to incentivize people. So if you call between, and you'll get the letter probably on the 9th or 10th, but if you call between the 8th and the 15th, we're going to put your name in a drawing, and on April 16th, you will be entered to get a $200 Amery Meat Market gift certificate. So if you call during that time frame, you enter it in there, and you're scheduled between sometime in April to May, you'll be entered in that drawing, and on the 16th of April, we'll draw one of those names out of a coffee can or whatever, out of a hat, and you will win that. So we want you to we really want you to call and get signed up. The earlier the better. After that, we're going to do another drawing. We have 3 drawings. Then the second one is for a $50 Dick's Fresh Market gift card. And if you call between the 16th and 21st, you'll get entered in there. You can only enter one of these. So once you schedule, you can't call back and try to reschedule. So it's a one-time shot. You can't. So on April 22nd, we're going to draw for that drawing. And then finally, the week of April 22nd to the 28th, if you call, and get scheduled. On April 29th, we're going to get you, you'll be entered for a $25 Ellie's gift card. So our incentive is to get you to call the first week, because that's we're trying to get people to do that. So please sign up. Please don't delay doing this. We really need to get into the homes to do this and get this done so that we can begin doing this with the handheld system and get it all completed. Some of the commercial customers, we still are waiting for those, the larger meters, to get those ordered and get those here. If you've been on the city's Facebook page, there's pictures of the stacks of meters and one of the open boxes. Friday, 1,200 meters came in. These are the more residential and some of the commercial meters. So they arrived, and so around the 16th, we want to start installing these things. So, and we're going to be doing this on the weekends too. So there'll be some weekend time to schedule, because we got to work with your schedule. And so the company Midwest Testing will be doing some evening and weekend stuff. Our staff will be rescheduling their schedules so that Bones will have them switched around so that they can accommodate it well. So look for this letter. It's going to be on yellow paper, so it'd be easy to see when you open it up. Do not throw it away. We're not. It's not a collection agency. We're not trying to find you to get money from you. This is to give you information, as well as there'll also be there's a green sheet in there that talks about the cross connections, why we have to do it. A little bit about the statute that the state of Wisconsin has that requires us to do that. So read this. Do not call City Hall to schedule. You got to use this 800 number, because the call center will do that. And so they're going to kind of take care of the scheduling there. Some of the buildings that are, either foreclosures or they're empty, rental type houses, or just empty houses in general, we're going to be working to try to get in there with the realty company or the bank or whatever. So some of those, the city staff will be doing, because they know who most likely to get in touch with. So
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
One is, when they call the call center,
Yep.
will their name automatically be put into the drawing? There's nothing more that they need
Nope,
to
once
do?
you call and get scheduled within those time frames, we'll get a list probably on that following Monday from the company, and then you'll be entered in the drawing automatically. So you don't do anything. You just call. And once you get on the schedule, then you're entered. That's kind of how it works. It's an automatic thing. So
My second question is, do we know how many residential facilities, houses we have to get into?
there are about 1,100, I think.
And what's the time frame we're trying to get into those homes?
We're trying to get in there between the 16th and we decided the middle of May. We're going to have some may take a little longer to put in, so we're trying to, about 45 days, I think, 60 at the most, but we want to try to get it done before that.
Did anyone else have any questions for Darcy on that?
This information, we're going to have a page on the website with this information, exact information, a little bit of other details in there. Maybe even a picture of the mayor's meter being installed, I don't know. That's going to happen soon.
The gold one?
The gold one?
Gold.
We can spray paint your plastic meter gold if you want, but it doesn't hurt the operation, I don't think. So yes, I guess if you do have questions, you can email us or call, but they should be able to answer at the call center because they've done lots of these, so it's pretty straightforward. When we do the cross-connection inspections, as Bones said, that's going to be city staff. It probably takes them, 5 minutes, maybe less? And they may come along with the Midwest testing folks. If we install a meter, those employees will do the cross-connection inspection at the same time. And essentially, it's a checklist. They will identify places where you may have to make a couple changes. For example, on the outside of your faucet, on the outside of your house, there's a simple way to take care of that if it is not a backflow preventer. Yeah, if it doesn't have the newer type faucet on it. The hardware store, I think you can get them at Lampert's, and at True Value probably have them. It's just a simple adapter you screw on there. I think they're $7 or $8. They're pretty reasonable. I don't know. Oh, he says $2. Oh, must be made in China then. They're pretty reasonable, but it does get you in compliance. So with that, and we're gonna make sure that you do comply with this because it's something the state is requiring us to do. So because we have to file these with the DNR, letting them know we've done this process. And so, do you have any questions? Any more questions here about that?
So is it possible that some people with lawn meters will have to have two separate visits in order to, because you were saying that you were going to try to get Bones' crew to come out to do the cross check?
The way if you have just an outside meter, I mean, if you just have an outside faucet, it's just a simple thing you add on there. If you have a lawn meter and you want to keep it, we'd probably, after you get it plumbed in, would want to come in and do all the installation at that time.
Other questions for Darcy? Yes, other stuff?
Yeah, I have a couple other things. Yeah, speaking of the home show, we're going to have a booth there again, the city and the community club. Last year we had a drawing. It was we called it an outdoor grill package. We had a charcoal grill that the community club donated. That came from Amery True Value, and it was a Weber grill, I think. We have some grill items that Outside In has donated. We have a case of Miller Lite that's going with the package that Super America donated, bag of charcoal, and a meat package that is put together by the Amery Meat Market. Has brats, some steaks, hamburgers in there. So everything you need to get going to have a cookout as soon as the snow disappears. So last year was a lady from Clear Lake, lives near Clear Lake, won that. She was pretty excited about that. And she went around to every business that donated, thanked them personally, which I thought was really nice. That was really nice. And then the following weekend, we're going to have another booth at the gun show, Amery booth there. And at both booths, we're going to have the prize wheel, the Amery prize wheel. So we have a bunch of prizes that were donated by local businesses. There's some gift certificates. There's some other items. We actually have some candy bars that have, say, Amery, Wisconsin on them that were given away. And then there's plenty of literature that we have for the new Polk County Guide we'll be giving out, and some other tourism information about the Amery area. So come by and get some information. And I think the mayor is going to be there on Saturday working, so you can come and see the mayor if you want. And one last thing.
That would draw a lot of people.
If you want, you can get your picture taken with it. Also, I wanted to mention our Facebook page again. Some exciting things have happened with that. If you've seen the photo of the deer on the front porch, that is at the house on the corner of Deronda and Keller Avenue. In one weekend, about 114 people, 130 people actually, got connected with the Amery City Facebook page. But what's really exciting is that in 1 week, 33,000 people looked at that photograph. I mean, that's almost the population of Polk County, so it's pretty exciting to see that. And it really drew some interest in the community's webpage, Facebook page. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to put things on there of interest on there that you may not find on the city's webpage. Like when the meters came in, we went out and showed people what they look like and, let people know that they came in. So we're trying to be kind of a little bit of on-the-spot kind of information, letting people know that, hey, now they might be in your neighborhood doing, hydrant flushing and all kinds of information that comes up. So kind of check that out. We're going to get the department heads, which they don't know yet, but kind of plugged in so that they can start using it a little bit to send out information about what's going on in their departments or exciting things that are happening, and share that with the public. So please check that out. As well as the regular webpage, we are doing things there too. So and trying to keep that up and putting more exciting things on there. And then one last thing, if you missed the city council meeting on the cable channel 6, and you want to watch it again, you can always come to the city's YouTube page and watch the video on there. So we try to post those within a week on that page, and so you can watch them on YouTube. So you have another way to connect with your city government.
Thank you, Darcy. Before we go on to committee reports, Bones, anything that came up that you remembered?
Yes, when Darcy mentioned flushing, the guys are flushing right now, and I've had several phone calls about bad water. You seen the light come on back here? When he said that was one of the things I was going to mention, because if you do got your water stirred up a little bit, let it run. The guys have been flushing, you probably got, another week? Okay, they'll be done Friday flushing, so if you notice that your water is a little cloudy, or I know there was a couple of neighborhoods that were very cloudy, and that was the other thing that I was going to talk about. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're trying to get a bear to lay on that front porch now.
Okay, moving on to committee reports. We have two committees that met during the last month. Finance, Rick Davis.
Finance Committee met yesterday, April 2nd, and we had only 4 items on our agenda. One of them was old business, and three of them were new business. Some of these are going to require action, some will not. Our first item on the agenda was these are items that were brought to our attention by our city auditors who have been working with us recently. Back in 2006, we had a special assessment to help pay for the lift station on Griffin Street, and we have not been actively pursuing all of the assessments for the various properties. That was brought to our attention by the auditors, and we are in the process now of, in fact, our Finance Committee made a motion, and we're going to request that the city proceed with the billing process to the affected property owners, and we're going to start that with a letter process and go on from there. In connection with our city auditors and with a reduction on our condominium association fees over at the library and police department, we're going to realize a savings of about $11,000 to the libraries, and I think about $3,200 or so to the police department. We are going to recommend that we reallocate that savings and amend the budget for both those departments. I think we do that in June. We do it a couple times a year, and we're going to recommend that the council amend both those budgets so we can shift some of those savings over to some other projects, primarily at the library, the Moore system, which we're almost finished putting in place. We'd like to shift the costs over to the Moore system, and Chief Marson also has some computer needs at the police department, computer needs, and a rifle that I think had gone up significantly in price due to the political climate. So we're going to recommend that these be amended in June. I'll have Darcy speak to our third item, which is the city is proposing serving beer and wine at the Music in the Park event in August. And I'll let Darcy discuss that, but our committee is recommending that we proceed with that.
Yes, Rick, and that's changed a little bit as our city clerk reviewed the law. We actually can only serve beer, so I'll explain that anyways.
Okay, beer then.
Beer, yeah, maybe beer. They may not want us to do it anymore now, but we can't do both. The community club, what they're doing this year, they're trying to get more events going on in the community and want to use our beautiful park. It's down on the Apple River, and our overlook that we installed a couple years ago and are continuing to improve. They're going to start in June. They're going to do music in the park, and they have 3 events planned with, there'll be music, food, and some beer and wine, kind of a social type thing, event. And they're going to do that 3 times this year. They have a couple different organizations they've asked to participate, as well as the community club is going to do some of the, it's kind of organizing everything. But they've asked the city to kind of be a participant in that. And what they've asked is that the city would possibly sell, at one time it was beer and wine, then we reviewed the statute and it only allows the city to sell beer, but to participate in that. And so what we do is that during the event in August, and it'd be a one-time thing, we, kind of decide if we ever want to do it again after that, I guess. We'd be some city council members and maybe some staff would volunteer and work as part of this community event. So what we'd be doing is basically the board would be saying that we're allowing the city to do that, to be a participant. And the city's been an active participant with community club activities throughout the years. So this is another thing they've asked us, because there are limits on how many picnic licenses that organizations who are nonprofit are allowed to have. And so they were looking for a partner to be party to that event. So they've asked the city, and as the policy-making organization, which is the Finance Committee, we presented that at the meeting on Tuesday. And so they're recommending that the city council consider that tonight.
Okay, thanks, Darcy. And the only other item we discussed, and we are not going to take any formal action on it this time, but our Finance Committee is recommending that we proceed forward as one of our city council members who was out of town for one of our committee meetings raised the question of us being able to from time to time meet electronically, either by the telephone or Skype or FaceTime. And we do all have the iPads now where we can, we have the technology to do it. So we are, it's done, it's something that's approved and allowed in the state of Wisconsin. We're going to ask that the Darcy proceed forward to put together a policy and procedures for us to participate in either Skype or FaceTime or any telephone situation where a committee might be short a person and need a quorum. We'd like to be able to participate and still proceed with the meeting rather than canceling it or causing a hardship for the city council. So committee is recommending that Darcy proceed and put together a procedure package and bring it back to the Finance Committee, and we'll take a look at it. And hopefully in the future, when we have a situation arise, we'll be able to use that technology to conduct our meeting.
Yeah, the city clerk and I, we did a little research on this and talked to a few other communities that have done this. And then there was a Minnesota Public Radio story on this. We're in northern Minnesota. They're doing this quite often, and it's happening in Wisconsin as well. And some of the more northern communities in Wisconsin, some of the council members still go, they go they're snowbirds for a month or 2 months, and, but they still want to participate in the activities of the board. And the law does allow that to happen. One of the things about having a policy, and we talked about this at yesterday's meeting, is that the policy would, there are certain reasons that you would be able to participate either by phone or by video, and it wouldn't be something that, would be a common thing, but it would be something that'd be allowed. And since we do all have the technology, except for Dave doesn't have the technology yet, he doesn't have a camera, but he would probably get upgraded if that happened.
I have this old, gigantic tablet while the rest have
Chiseled and
slim,
stolen.
trim
And,
units.
and
And it's on.
yeah, and we know that Dave would probably use it more than anybody else, so we want to make sure he's upgraded. But it is something that is common in corporate world, that, they do have board members that do participate in meetings via video. And it's something that we wanted to bring out to the public, and have discussion of it, and come up with a policy prior to just saying, we're going to do it. So since it is fairly new, even though there are communities that do it, each community kind of looks at it, has their attorney decide whether it's a good idea for that community, as well as coming up with a policy where and when it's allowed. So,
Anything else, Rick, from finance?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Rick? Public Works met yesterday as well, right?
This morning.
no, it's morning.
Oh, this morning.
You were there.
It was a long day. It seemed like a day ago.
Now, there are some 7th grade students here tonight, and so let's just,
Well, I wasn't sure if they were here because they're being punished, or if this was an educational adventure.
they're here earning extra credit for their 7th grade
okay.
civics class. So thanks, guys, for coming. Public Works met this morning at 9 a.m. We had 2 things on the agenda, and one of them is under new business. Dean Raveling asked us to begin the process to close a portion of Venture Drive, and so we'll be talking about that under new business. The only other thing was the Women's Club kept us informed of their recycling project, and they are applying for a grant from Keep America Beautiful organization to get recycling bins in all the city parks. And so we went through a list of parks, and they can order up to, I think we decided we're going to order 20 bins if the grant is applied, and they will be going into the city parks around town, and there are already trash cans, so these will be a recycling bin that they can throw either glass or plastic or whatever into. So they're keeping us apprised of that. So that was all that we had.
Okay, thank you, Kay. Any questions for Kay? Well, since she mentioned that the 7th grade class is here, I would like to have all the class come up here so you can be on TV and have documentation that
Bring your agendas with you, and we'll sign them right now. In order to receive the extra credit, they have to have an agenda signed.
Oh, if you didn't get one, we'll make a copy of one. Yeah, we'll get you one.
Got a pen?
then
Here, you use mine. Okay.
It's coming up here.
No, we have to sign them. Well, just one of us have to sign.
That's a mayor sign them.
The mayor can sign one, and this proves that they were here. There you go.
And if their teacher doesn't believe them, tell them to go on YouTube. They can see you on YouTube. Yeah.
You could sell that part of the street. All the way around this, so.
now you have to turn around and face the camera. There you go. Thank you very much.
Thank you. They're never coming back now. Never.
That's marvelous.
Okay, let's move on then to a new business, and the first...
Mr. Mayor.
Sure.
No. Parks and Rec did not meet this month, but I do have an announcement. The Goose Management project is moving along, and we'll have a meeting on April 22nd. This is really the first major committee meeting that we're having. We would like to invite all those who are interested in helping us with the project to attend. I've mentioned in the last couple of months that our first strategy is to paint with corn oil the eggs that will be laid in the nests in the next couple of months. So we would appreciate volunteer help with this project, and so we invite you to come on April 22nd. In the last 2 weeks ago, my friend Byron Bird wrote a letter to the Free Press, excellent, well-written letter, defending, protecting the geese that are with us presently. And I agree with him wholeheartedly with almost every item that he mentioned. Today the paper came out, and my friend Jan Priest wrote a letter, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but wished us well as we close in on those goose nests because of the irate welcome that we might expect from Mother Goose. I think I need to make an emphasis that this is a management program. It is a 5-year program. Nothing happens overnight. Much happens within the first year. And so there are a variety of things that we have available to us, and we're going to move ahead and institute 1 or 2 strategies per year. They need to be evaluated. Counting is one way. Just general observation is another way to evaluate them. But we won't know their effectiveness for 2 or 3 or 4 years. So bear with us. We're not going to eliminate them in any way. We just want to reduce the numbers a little bit. And so we would appreciate your help in doing this, and the part of the evaluation will come in the next couple of years, and we would like citizen participation in that also. So April 22nd, did we set a time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m. Here?
Yep.
Right here.
And we've also submitted the application for the goose oiling. That has been submitted to Wildlife Services. So waiting to hear from them on what we have to do next.
Okay, both state and federal agencies require application forms, and we're doing that now. And in the fall, I might mention in the fall, there is will be some hunting within the city limits, and we want people to participate in that activity. And plans for that will take place over the summer. And so all of the guidelines will be well publicized before that takes place. We don't intend to have a gunshot bouncing off your windows and home siding. So it's a good project. It's a 5-year project, and we're looking forward to getting started in the next couple of months.
Thank you, Dave, for bringing that up. I know that the Parks Committee has spent a lot of time and energy, and I think have had a number of public meetings, education, as well as providing opportunities for people to have input. And that's really how, from a city council standpoint, we try to conduct business, is really to use our committees and invite people to come into the committees where there's a lot more time to dedicate to a particular topic and not necessarily here at the city council meeting. So I'd encourage people that are interested and have an opinion and want to be involved to take advantage of Dave's offer to come to the meeting on the 22nd. Anything else before we go to new business? Okay, item A under new business is the Raveling Company's initial approval to close a portion of Venture Drive. And Darcy, do you want to cover that, or?
I can do that, yeah. Raveling Companies, which is in the East Industrial Park, and is way in the back in the old Kubi building. They have just purchased another building that's right next door that was part of that Kubi facility at one time. And there is a cul-de-sac there at the end of that drive. And beyond the cul-de-sac, there's probably, I don't know how far it is, what is it?
About 40 feet.
40, 50 feet of street, and it's, is it 30 feet wide maybe? 20, yeah. That originally had been planned, there was an on a map at one time, there was more road coming back there for development. That was abandoned or vacated by the city when the Kubi building was built and put into service. Dean Raveling, who is the owner of Raveling Companies, has asked the city, since they own both sides of the street, and it will never go through because they own all the property at the end there, about abandoning that section there, and that they would use for placing material and things. The cul-de-sac would remain, so you could still turn a truck around in there. The costs related to this vacation of the street, they will pay for the survey and some publication costs, as well as the recording costs that are part of recording the deed, and for the city attorney to draw up the deed, the quitclaim deed. So there is no cost to the city. It does benefit the manufacturer there by abandoning this section of street. It takes about 45 days, if I remember, from vacating the street over here. It takes 45 days. They own both sides of the street, so it's kind of the same situation as over here. They're not going to impact anybody else, and there's no concern of if we do vacate that. There is a section, is there a water line that's in there, Bones? That we have to have an easement written into the deed, but that's no big deal. And I think the Public Works Committee recommended to start the process, so.
Katie, do you want to add anything to that?
Well, just that it was unanimous that we start the project so that Dean can get on with the business out there.
One of the other things that Dean mentioned at the meeting this morning was that with the purchase of the additional building, he's actually going to be adding more jobs to the area. I think he said that there would be 6 machinist positions that would be added and another 8 material handling positions, so another 14 positions that'll be added as a result of the expansion and growth of his business, so that's good news for us as well. And this is really the first step in the approval process. As Darcy mentioned, it's a 45-day process, and the anticipation is prior to the June City Council meeting, we will have a public hearing for people to provide input, and then the expectation is that the City Council will take action at the meeting that night. So what do we need? A motion to
Start the
move forward?
process? Yep.
So moved.
Okay. Van Blarkum, is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's been approved. The process will begin. Item B is Class B beer and Class B liquor license. And Fran, do you want to cover those?
Sure. Business located at Birch Street in Amery that's been known as Uncle Bob's. The limited liability company that currently owns the business is in the process of selling it to the new owner, which goes by the name Act 3 Incorporated, and the agent is Dave Curtis. And of course, probably most of us know Dave and his wife Shane as the owners of the TAC 2 here in Amery. And they're going to be purchasing Uncle Bob's, and from what I understand, plan on retaining the name. Of course, liquor licenses in the state of Wisconsin cease to exist once the premise is no longer owned by the person who holds the license. So upon the close of the sale, the previous owner will be required to surrender that license back to the city. What we're looking at doing tonight is approving the license for Mr. Curtis so he can continue to conduct business at the same location under his new limited liability company.
And we need a motion to that effect.
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we approve the liquor license change to Act 3, Inc. for Dave Curtis.
Is there a second?
Second.
Dave Meyer, second. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. And Fran, while you are there, do you want to talk about, we discussed previously about the whole idea of getting permits to serve liquor?
Certainly. Recently, I've come across several situations where local businesses, as part of a promotion of some sort, would like to serve alcohol to the public. Be that a glass of wine with a service at a beauty salon or an open house or things of that nature. I just want to remind everybody that in the state of Wisconsin, to serve alcohol to the public, a license is required. It's irrelevant whether you're giving the alcohol away or whether you're charging for it. If you are open to the public, you cannot serve any alcoholic beverages to the public without the appropriate license. If that's something your business would like to do, please contact me here at City Hall. I can answer all your questions about that. I can maybe help you find a way that you can legally accomplish that, serving if you really would desire to do that. The best way to do that is if a local service organization would be interested in helping you out by the service organization obtaining the license and getting the server for your event at your business. So please give me a call if that's something that you would like to do, or if it's something that you're already doing, and we will see if we can't help you out and try to come up with the legal means for you to do that.
Thank you, Fran. Item C is the City of Amery serving beer, not wine, just beer, at Music in the Park at the August Community Club event. So I would need a motion to authorize the city to move forward. Now, seeing that it is a city that will be serving, we actually do not need to give ourselves a permit to do that.
Do we not have to still have a certified person in charge of the serving?
No, I actually have here reference state statute 125.06 para 6, which exempts officers or employees of a municipality enacted by the governing body may sell beer only at any public park operated by the municipality without a license or permit. So no, there is not an operator required. City officials and city employees are eligible to serve as servers and serve beer. Initially, when this issue came up, I understand they were interested in having the city serve wine. Upon further investigation, the provision in the statute does not allow the municipality to sell intoxicating liquor or wine. So it is beer only that the city is eligible to serve. We don't have to give ourselves a license, and we do not have to give ourselves a server's license. We're exempt under statute from both of those requirements.
If you're concerned about that, Rick, I took that class a couple years ago.
No,
I've had it too.
I'm basically concerned, I don't think the city should be in the liquor serving business myself, or beer either. If there's any possibility of a service organization being involved with that, i.e. Lions, Oddfellows, Elks, which we don't have, but...
Well, they're also doing, there's other service organizations that are going to participate in these events, and they're already doing food or something else, so they're kind of stretched out a little bit. That's why we were asked by the community club, so. And as I said earlier, they may not want us to do it because we can't do wine, so we may be out of the business anyways, because they may not want us to do that. And we didn't know that when they brought this to finance. We were unaware of that section in there, in the statute.
So even though we're not required to have a permit or have licensed operators, we did want to bring it to the council to make sure that the council was in favor of the city, either us or city staff, serving at this event.
And if we do city staff, then we are liable for, if if somebody gets hammered there and crashes their car, what's
I
the
think the
liability
event is
issue?
only for like 3 hours. It's a very limited window.
That was what I brought up at the committee. A concern I have is, I know the event's 3 hours, but the concern is if something were to happen, they leave, accident, what it may be, we're providing the alcohol there, and it could come back in liability. I think after our meeting, we thought about this more. I think it'd be better, I'd like to be a part of the city, but maybe soda, something like that, let the liquor portion, or the beer in this case, be to another community event that wants to assist. It's just, I think the liability on the city is too much. It doesn't look good that we're selling.
I don't have a concern that we would sell somebody too much necessarily, but if the guy comes at .75 and then you sell him one and he goes to .1,
0.08 now.
now we are, well, with one, whatever he goes to, then are we in a situation where we have provided him the means to operate OWI?
Well, following that train of thought, then I don't think any service organization is going to want to put themselves at risk either. I mean, why would you do that? And the fact is that a lot of service organizations do a lot of events where they get beer and wine licenses and do it. So, I mean, the risk is there, but I think it's pretty minimal. But again, it's something that before we can make the commitment on behalf of the city, we need to get the council's approval to do that. So if we're going to do it, I do need a motion from the council approving that we participate with the community club. So does anyone want to make that motion?
Mr. Mayor, I move that in the event we are still eligible and wanted, that the City of Amery volunteers to sell and serve beverages at this music concert in August.
So a motion has been made by Dave. Is there a second?
Second.
By Kay, second by Kay. Any further discussion?
This is over by the river, isn't it?
By the patio, yeah, the new patio.
Patio,
Yep,
so
that's correct.
It's kind of a limited, small event, isn't it?
Yeah, and the intent was to make it a, kind of a premier event to have some high quality acts come in. There's been talk of, before the thing, we would have some fancier hors d'oeuvres, kind of, I think they do music on the river or something over in St. Croix Falls, and it's kind of like that, that type of event. Trying to get more people to events downtown is kind of the idea, and to utilize our parks. I think that was another piece of it. So, and it is a very nice location. If anybody's been down there, you'll see that it's a very nice spot. And I think during these events, they're actually not going to play the music on the patio overlook. They're going to use the Michael Park Pavilion, which is even better. So it's going to be centrally located in the middle of the park, so.
Anybody else would like to speak in favor of or in opposition to the motion?
Well, my only question would be, these other licensees.
Picnic licenses, yep.
How do they address the issue of liability?
Well, like the Rotary we're covered for Rotary events that we do by Rotary International. They have 4 sanctioned Rotary events that members are at. They have liability insurance and those kind of things. I would assume the Lions and any other organization has, director's insurance and those kind of things.
I think if something were to happen, somebody would come after the city more so than they'd come at the Rotary Club.
Okay, or a softball team.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Do we know if our insurers for the city, in terms of our liability, assume that we won't have these kind of events? And so if we begin to have these kind of events, that they'll...
In the 4-inch binder we get from our insurance company, it covers everything. I mean, geez, I can't even think of anything that we don't get covered for. And we don't run the golf course, but a lot of municipal golf courses do have a bar in them, and so it'd be very similar to if we were the municipal golf course and we sold beer at a golf course. A little different because this is to be the first time really the city has, well, not really, the fire department sold beer at the chili feed a couple times. And, that was a limited, short event, a couple hours. This is a little different. This is actually city staff volunteering their time and selling beer on behalf of an event, and the city gets the profits.
I don't think this is
it's different.
the beginning of a new line of business for the city.
Well, I
know they're talking about alternative revenue streams, but this is...
I guess I have to admit that I'm a little bit ambivalent because I don't feel like I understand necessarily why, if other organizations wouldn't be willing to step up, and we're already kind of, limited in what we can do.
I think it was just a request from the community club to have the city help out, because the community club is already getting licenses for other events, and they're
The farmers
limited.
market, yep.
They're limited as to the number of licenses they can get. And Fran's got something to say to that.
Yeah, I just want to clarify that a little bit. When it comes to a picnic beer license, service organizations can get an unlimited number of beer licenses in a calendar year. They do have to make a separate application for each event and each date and each license. However, wine is a different story. Service organizations are only eligible to receive 2 wine licenses in a calendar year. So if a group like the community club is holding a lot of events, they're going to use their 2 wine licenses fairly quickly. And in that event, they may need to look other places for other organizations or groups to get the license, the picnic wine license.
But if they can have a
portion.
beer license without limit, and we're limited to having only beer, then it serves no purpose for us to underwrite this, because they can already do what we can offer them.
Yes, it's, after, further research and that the city can't sell wine, we are probably not as attractive a group to, help them out this way.
Attractive? I would offer, and I don't know how you want to do that, but I'd offer a friendly amendment, since we have some time, is that we proceed with it only if there's no civic group that would be interested. Since we've now talked about it and it'll be on the air, maybe somebody will stand forth and say, oh, hey, we'll do it, because we don't have a wine license.
But it's kind of a moot point, because we don't bring anything to the table that they already don't have access to.
Right.
Yeah.
It might be. We don't know. It depends upon what the community club is looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
If they feel that wine is really something that they want to serve, and we're not going to be able to serve it, it may be a moot point. But if they're happy with us serving beer only, then it may not be.
True.
But they can already serve it.
So they asked us to do this, right?
They asked us to do it.
Okay, well, I guess if they want us to sell beer only, fine.
Well, that is the motion that's been made and seconded, is to agree to do that if they so want us to do it, realizing that we are limited to beer. So unless there's anybody else who has a question or point, we should vote on it. So if you're in favor of us helping out, say aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
No, see, now you put me in. I was just talking.
Now what happens? What happens now?
Okay, we have a tie vote.
We have a tie vote.
The mayor makes the final decision, I do believe.
The mayor has to vote.
Yeah, the mayor has to vote. Very limited opportunity I get to vote. But this is one of them, and I'm going to vote in favor.
Democracy in action.
So the ayes have it. So we will offer to serve beer at the event if they still want us to do that. Thank you very much. Good discussion.
You guys came at the right time. That doesn't happen very often, when the mayor gets the vote.
Second time. I've been there for a while, and it's only the second time I voted. Okay, item D is we do have some operator licenses to approve. Those are in the packet, and Fran and Tom, you have looked at the applications. You want to tell us what you have found? Everything in order?
Everything's in order, though. Generally, we let Fran handle that.
Where do you take these
Okay,
tests?
do you have the list of people? I know we have their
Yes.
applications
I
here.
have an application from Gail and Kirk at the Alibi Bar, Michelle Madsen at the Alibi Bar, and Tony Van Doren at Uncle Bob's. And they have each met the educational requirements and passed the background check by the chief of police.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the 3 operators licenses?
So moved.
Jack, is there a second?
Second.
Rick, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The licenses are approved, and that is all the business, so I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Okay, second?
Second.
We are adjourned. Thank you very much, kids.